problem. So the recording has started. Okay. So pandas is like it's again a two-dimensional. Okay, and it is like your database. So it will have header, right? So it'll the data is stored in rows and column format. Okay, and column has header. Okay, and also by default pandas will also assign index. Okay, or you can call it as like row headers kind of thing. So if we don't generally we don't give row headers, right? Because rows could be infinite. I mean, it could be 100,000, 10,000, right? So by default it assigns 0, 1, 2, 4, so on as the row header. Okay, so I'll just show you an example. So let's say okay, and it's called data frame. Okay, so the way it is represented is called data frame. So if for that we have to first import. Can you see my screen, right?
No, I'm seeing just your
Oh.
face.
Yeah, I think I
Okay.
missed
Yeah,
to share. Yeah.
perfect.
So so we import pandas. Okay, just like NumPy, we import pandas, and generally, it's written as PD. Okay, in short form. And so if I have to create a say empty data frame, so I'll say df1 equal to PD dot, okay, D capital data frame. Okay, so this creates an empty data frame, so it's like an empty table. Okay, and if I print it, say df1, and when you okay, so it shows column blank and index blank, and it says empty data. Okay, because we haven't added anything to the data frame. Now let's create a list. Okay, so I'll call it as say data equal to, I'm going to create a list. How do we create a list? We create list using square braces, right? So I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is a list, and we're going to convert this list into data frame. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this. Okay, and I'm going to paste it here. So now here df1.data frame, okay, and I pass this data frame. Okay, so you see this. But so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and this data is being passed to data frame. Okay, and now when I print it, by default, see, I did not give any column header. Okay, so if you do not give the name to the column, it will add 0 here, first column. If I had one more column, it would have been named as 1 and 2 and so on. So automatically it assigns a column name here, and see there's a row index as well. Okay, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it assigns the column name. If you don't give, it will take as numbers, and then the row ID as well. Okay, now if I have to create a list of lists, let's say I'll comment this out, and we don't need this. Now here, this list, I create, say, list of list. Okay, so that means I create something like this. Okay, and here I add, let's say, name. So let's say I add a name here. Name here. Here. Um, here, and let's say. So what I just did is I created a list. So this whole thing is a list, and I have list of lists, right? So this is one set of list, another set of list. Now if I run it, so see, you got two columns, right? So the first values became first column, second values became second column. Okay. Now if I have to give it a say column header, right? By default, it added 0 and 1 as the header. So if I want to give a column name, I'll just go here. Okay, in the data frame itself. So I say data. So that data becomes the row, the column, and the rows format. And here I add something called as columns. Okay, so you see columns equal to. Now here again we need to pass as a list. Okay, so now let's say I put first column as say roll number and second column as let's say name. Okay, so I give column names here. Okay, so you see this, the column header which was 01 became roll number and name. Okay,
Okay.
so this is how you can define a data frame using list. You could use even say dictionary. Okay, so you could convert dictionary also to data frame. So if I create, let's say, again I'll create data or data one maybe equal to, okay, and I define a list. So how do you define a list? You define list using square braces, right? So here I give dictionary will have square sorry curly braces, and we give the format of key and values. Okay, so key, let's say I give as say roll number. Okay, and the so the roll number. Okay, so this is key colon value. So value I give as a list. So here let's say uh, I give as 1 2 3 4 maybe one, or maybe say 10 20 something like that, so that it output is different than the previous one. Okay, so this is the first this thing. So if I go here, okay, so I come here and I say df2 equal to pd dot data frame. Okay, and I pass data 1 and I say print df2. Okay, so you see this roll number 10 20 30 40. If I want to add one more column, I will add say comma. Okay, then let's say type I give, okay, something like this, and colon you can give so 5, right? 1 2 3 4 5. So let's say I say bad ball. Okay. So you can convert list into data frame, you can convert dictionary into data frame. And when you convert dictionary, see in the list, there's no way to give the name. So you can use columns value here to give the column names, or you can use, if you're using dictionary by default, key becomes the column header. Okay. Key becomes the column header. So I want to give the name. I'll just copy this. Okay, so this became a list. Now when you run it, you get 3 columns. Okay, so this is how you can convert dictionary to data frame, and data frame, okay, is it's part of pandas, and this represents rows and column format. Okay, so so this is how you create a data frame, right? How you create data into data frame. So now what we'll see is how to perform operations like you perform in a database, like select. Okay, um, so uh, let's say you don't want to print all the columns. Okay, you want to print only roll number, right? So here, okay, so you have df2, right? If I do give df2, everything will be printed. Instead, what I'll do is I'll give a indexing. So indexing, we use square braces, right? So you give square bracket here, and in bracket you define the column name which you want to display. So if I say names here, okay, so I'll get only the names. So you give the data frame name, square bracket open, and the column name. So you got only the name here. Okay, and it says the name of the column is names. Okay, and it's the object. Of course, by default, everything is object in Python. Okay. Um, so let's say uh, you want to, let's say, delete name, right? So if you want to delete, so you will say, say I want to delete this. So I'll say Control C, del, and okay. And now if I do print, let me comment it out. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. So this column is deleted now, right? So let's keep it. So using del, you can delete a column. If you do not want any column, you can delete it. Okay. Um, so there are two things you have to remember here in the indexing. We have something called as LOC lock, ILOC, LOC and ILOC. So the columns can also be indexed. Okay, index means selecting the column, right? So can also be indexed if you are giving ILOC. So this is how I remember. I means integer. Okay, so ILOC means here you give the column number. Okay, um, um, you know, uh, so I stands for I integer, right? And there, if you write I, we give the number, and without I, just LOC location, LOC. Okay, there you give the column number. Okay, or the row number. Okay, so if I'll just show you. So here, if I say df2, okay, dot loc, okay, loc, okay, and here I give say there's no name here. So let it be like this. Let's create another data frame. Here we will be able to see accessing zeros. Okay, so what we'll do is see, we have seen data frame, right? Data frame, as we said, that it has multiple columns. It can have multiple columns. We have something called a series in data frame. Series has only one column. Okay, so basically, if you see, the data frame is nothing but collection of series, right? So you have multiple series, and you can club them together to form one data frame. So I'm going to create one data frame using series. So let's say I call it as say data 3, something like, okay, equal to, okay, just like we create our dictionary here. So here, okay, I give a name. So I say column, say A, okay, and okay, I say PD dot series, S capital. Okay, so here PD we use S capital, data frame D and F capital, right? So series is going to create just one column, and I'm going to create multiple series so that we get a data frame. So here if you say column 1 PD series, okay, and in series we pass a list 1 comma 2 comma 3, okay, comma 4 comma 5, okay, and okay, I call it comma, and then we'll give say column B, okay, and column B series 10 comma 20 30 40 50. Okay, so I created two series. I'll convert this into data frame. So to convert into data frame, again say df, maybe I'll use 3 equal to pd pandas dot data frame, and I say data 3 and print df3. Another way to create a data frame. Okay, so I'll show you something here. First, let's get the data frame. So see this. So data column 1A, column B. Okay, so these two became a column header, and you have values 1, 2, 3, 4. You there, Kashish? Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
listening.
Yeah. So you have column A, column B. Okay, and we got values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is what we give. Now, I just said right. By default, row has index 0 to 4. Now, if you want to override the value, right? You don't want it to be, give the default one. You want to give column name, okay? So column name, as I said, it's called index, right? So sorry, not column name, row name. So column name is columns, okay? So when we give column name, we used columns here, okay? We used columns. When you want to give a name to the row, we use index. So same in series here, I say comma, okay, and I say index, index equal to, okay, and you can pass it like a, you can pass it like a list here. So index, I want to give, let's say, okay, so let's say we call it as R1. Where's my mouse cursor? Just yeah. So I give this is updating. Okay, so I give R1. Okay, so I want to call first row as R1. Okay, second row as I say R2 and R3, comma R4, comma R5. Okay, so this became, this will be called as R1, R2, R3, R4, and R5. I'm going to copy this and put it here again. Okay, so now let's run this and see. So see here, the default which was 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 got renamed to R1, R2, R3, R4, R5. Okay, so what happened was this one is called R1, 2 is called R2, 3 is called R3, and here 10 is R1, 20 is R2, 30 is R3. So when we put them together based on this index, it matches this. So now let's say if I call this as R5, let's say I call this R5 and here I'll call it as R1. Okay, see what happens. So see, 50 became here because since we gave R1 as the first value and here I'm calling 50 as R1, 50 came here. You see that?
Yeah. So the row the row switched, but what if we just changed one of them and not the other one? So let's say if we just made like R5 into R2 and then the rest were the same. So what would happen then?
So see what it does, it matches these names here. Okay, so your R1 is here. So these two values will be put together. Right.
Oh, okay, I see. Otherwise it'll give us a an error, right?
Yeah, if you have more than one name, it'll give error, right? You cannot have two column rows as name. So that's why generally we don't use index. We don't give because the data could be we could be adding, removing data, right, in real time. So it's not possible to give name to all the rows. But yeah, you can give your own row name, and here it matches here, and you can, it has to be unique first of all. Okay, you can, in the same series you can't have different like sorry, same name. Okay,
Got it.
and it matches this. Now let's say I put R6 here instead of R2. This is different, so this will be accepted. So now what happens, you see here there is R2, so you have R2 here, but there is no R2 in this case here. In this second series, there is no R2, right? So there is no R2, so it left blank. NaN means not a number. Okay, so it is like a blank. Blank will be read as nan, not a number. So see, it became blank. And since there is a R6 here, it created R6, and R6 column B is 20, but column A has no value here. So column A became NaN.
Not a number. Got it.
Okay, so this is how you could, uh, you know, use this. Now,
I see.
um, now, so 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 this became, it has a name. So we're talking about LOC and ILOC. So if I come here, so I call it as df3. So I say print, okay, and I say df3 dot LOC, okay, and here in bracket I give, let's say, R3. So see, R3, column A is 3, column B is 30, right? R3 is third value 3, and third value here 30. So you could call using LOC. So in LOC we give the name, okay? So we gave R3 and it gave us. Instead, you could even use ILOC. So if I come here, print, sorry, df3 dot ILOC and bracket open. I give, let's say, 2 here, 2, or let's have 2. So see here. So this is the complete R3, right? And by default, this is 0, correct? And this is 1, and this is 2. So you see, when I give ILOC 2, again 330 is printed. If I give 0 here,
It'll be 1.
yeah, the first one, which is 1 and 50.
Okay.
Okay, and column we deleted using del, and row if you want to delete, you'll delete using drop. So if I say df3, okay, dot drop, okay, and I give 0 here, okay, and I'm going to print this again after dropping. Oh, 0 is not found. Why? Because we have renamed 0, right? So if I say here R1, okay, I did drop, right? df3 r1 r2 r3 once again, if I say r, okay, let me come back to it. Why? Okay, you know what? When you say drop, this df is not changed. So if I say df3 equal to df3 dot drop, now r3 is dropped. Okay, so it deleted, but it was not saved. So we are saying df3 equal to df3 dot drop. So that means the row is removed and saved in the df3. So now when you print df3, you see r3 is gone. R3 is not there. Okay. Similarly, we have append. Append will add two data frame. So here we have data frame df3 and df2. Let's try to append df3 and df2. So we will store the information, okay, in, let's say, df. So I'm going to call df equal to, okay, df equal to, or let's say we'll make it in df3. So df3 equal to, okay, so you can create a new data frame. That's not a problem. Okay, so it can be df also. Okay, so the output will be stored in df. So I'm saying df equal to df2 dot append and df3. Okay, now we'll print df. So dot append will merge two data frame. So see what happened. In df2, the previous one, we had index as 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And here we had index as r1, r2, 3, r5, r6, because r3 we deleted, right? So when you merge it, they became different rows here. So roll number and type had value for 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and new column A and column B got added from df3. Since df3 doesn't have value for 0 to 4, it is nan. Okay, and since the previous one df2 doesn't have value for r1 to r6, this became nan, and it has merged the two data frame, right?
Right, makes sense.
Yeah. So this is how you can merge two data frame. Okay, so we have seen how to create data frame, how to delete row and column, how to append to data frame, how to create data frame using list, dictionary, series. We give the name. Okay. So when we read a CSV file, okay, um, in file operations we have seen how to read CSV file. Okay, so you can read a CSV file using pandas also. Okay, and when you read using pandas, it will save the information as a data frame. Okay, so I have just give me a second. I'll just open my GitHub and I'll show you how to read a CSV file. Okay, 1 second. One second. I'll just. Okay, so here I have some CSV files. Okay, so this is the GitHub location. Okay, I'm going to copy this link and come here. Okay, and I'm going to say df4 equal to pd dot read CSV. Okay, so it has the read CSV, read JSON, read Excel. Okay, so using Pandas, you can read Excel, JSON, everything that we did in file operation. Mostly we read CSV because data generally will be in CSV format and we need to read and perform different operations. So I'm going to say read CSV and I gave the link here. This is not the link to read. There is something called as raw here. If you click this raw, okay, so this has just the data. So this link will be read. So I'm going to paste this link, okay, from GitHub. And now if I say print df4, so you can directly read the data from online resources. You don't have to, okay, copy down and see, it has read the data. So it has columns, customer ID, gender, age, annual income, spending score, and it has 102 to 199, 200 records. Okay, so by default it added. So when you print and when it has many data, right, more than 10 rows of data, we're going to give you first 5 and last 5. Okay, so by default it's going to display first 5 because it's not possible or all the 200 would be too much to display, right? So it will give you first 5 and last 5, so you have access to 10 rows. Once you get this data here in the df format, now you can play with it, right?
Right, and then you can use the LOC to find the
Yes,
data
yes,
in between, right?
exactly. So once you get this in the data frame format, now it's up to you how you want to use it. Okay, you could perform summary. Okay, so let's say print df4 dot yes, Summary is not there, but you can um, so let's say I was thinking let's perform some operation on it. Okay. Um, so you have customer ID. Okay. So let's say we want to see what are the columns here? Gender we can have common, or age also we can have common. Okay. So here df4, okay, and let's say I give say gender here. Okay. Gender dot value count. Okay. So it told female 112 and male 88. So value count will count the unique values. Okay. So in gender, we have out of 200 data, we have female data 112, and it will give in the sorted order. So F comes before M. So that's why female will be printed first and then male. If I say age, okay, then you see. Okay, so 69, you see here, 69 one record, 64 one record, 41 2. Okay, so you have 32 11, 35 9. It counted and gave you the value count. Okay, then you have something called a shape. Okay, so if I, okay, I'll make it a gender itself so that we don't get such a big list. Print, it's not summary, it's called shape. So if I say df4 dot shape, okay, and shape is a value, so we don't have to give bracket open and close. See, so it says 200 comma 5. So first value is number of rows and second value is number of columns. It says that the shape of the data frame is 200 into 5. Okay, so there are 200 rows and 5 columns. So this is it. Okay, there are few more functions, but okay. So for example, if I say head here, so if you display df4, it gave us 10, right? And you have something called as head. Okay, and by default head, okay, so that means it gives top 5. By default it will give us top 5 rows. Okay, but if you want only 3, you want to 6, you can say head 6, so it will give top 6 data. Okay, so see 0 to 5, top 6 data it gave. Similarly, you have tail. Tail will give bottom. So tail 5 will give us last 5 rows. Okay, tail 4 will give us last 4 rows.
So what about the data in the middle? If we just want to say, let's say we want to reach the data from 50
So you have
to
the
100.
index, by default you have the index, right? So you can use
Right, okay.
iloc and say iloc 100. So it'll give you the 101st right? Because it starts from 0, right? So if you give 100, it'll give you 101st row. If you want 100, then you have to say 99. iloc. So using iloc, you can get it.
Okay, that makes sense.
Huh? So yeah, so this is about data frame. Okay, mostly when you're handling data, you'll be using data frame only. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, this is good for statistics.
Yes. Data handling, statistics. So when you're reading statistics, you know, the NumPy and Pandas will be the first two topics. Yeah.
Is this okay? So stupid question, but is
Mhm.
this also like a portion of the R, like the R language?
So yes, you know, it's not called data frame, okay, but in R also we have something similar. Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, so yes, same concept exists in R as well.
Okay, this seems a lot easier. I used to do SPSS.
Yeah,
like
it's much
college.
easier than SPSS for sure.
Yeah.
SPSS, SAS. So I think it is easier than those packages.
Definitely. I almost failed a class because of those.
Okay. So you want to end it here for today? And
Yeah, that's
yeah. Then tomorrow we'll meet for regular expression, and then we'll do GUI programming. So I'll put this in the same location, the video and the content. And,
okay, sir. Thank you so much
no
for coming,
problem.
and I hope you do feel a lot much better.
Thank you.
I'm sure you're currently going through the phase of recovery, but
Yeah.
I really do appreciate you coming back and pushing it through. But if you don't feel good, just let me know, and
Sure.
just be open with me, open contact. You have my email,
Yeah.
and I'll
Thank you.
definitely understand.
Yeah, sure. No worries. So I think I'm much better. So hopefully I should be able to, go through. So we'll see you
Perfect.
tomorrow. Yeah, if there's something, I'll let you know. I'll email you. Okay.
No
But
problem, sir.
yeah, it will meet tomorrow and we'll continue.
All right. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so
Feel
much.
much better.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You take care and see you tomorrow.
Thank you. You too. Have a
Thanks.
good day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Good night.
Good night.